and then probably some wilder examples when we are all supposed to be a little better. You know, I've been training different things throughout my life, like Kung Fu, for example, and I've been teaching also Kung Fu. And one of the basic things about teaching is that you will go through same basic drills weekly with your students, because usually when you have some people who don't have belt yet, for example, then you will go through them the basics, and then they will get their first belt. Usually by the end of that there's new group coming, hopefully, and then you will go through that again, and then they will need to go back and forth with those basic skills that I've just learned. And in that process, when they might feel a little bit frustrated with, you know, that they will need to go through again these basic courses which they just graduated from, this will go on all the way to the darker belts. Because when you know the basics, this is where you build things, and you can always come back to those things, and it's good to have that muscle memory. So at the time when you will face some problems, you will have something to come back to. So with that in mind, let's go through some things, and I think that these things what we will be going through will be scalable. To VLOS or not to VLOS? There is the question that I have been thinking quite a bit. Well, I think VLOS is kind of a hot topic, and well, basically we all know what it is all about. Of course, you should have spotter with you, and that's very recommended for many reasons, especially if you are completely beginner. That is going to help you quite a bit because you will be blindfolded. So even if you would not have that spotter, and that's against the rules of VLOS, but if you are very aware of your surroundings, you fly the drone within safe boundaries so that you can control the area that you're flying. So you're not flying in the streets, you're not flying at the public park where there's a lot of children, and you're not flying at the marketplaces, and you're not flying it on the highway. You should be good. Out there, nice remote place, being aware of all of the risks and learning to control your drone. I would suggest big field, like actual field, or football field if there's nobody there when you're going there with your drone, or sports field. And there will be some nice places where you can train your turnings also. And keep the drone within the close distance of yourself so that you actually can hear it when you're going. This will also give you some information where it is at and if there's someone else at that direction. So you will steer it away immediately or force land it. You know, it's just a drone. Safety is what matters. If I would say that safe flying begins, whether it is VLOS or FPV, it begins even before you start your engines and get your drone up. Let's get into this. Basic movements are simple, and because we are going to aim for FPV flying with all of this, so that will be your yellow belt in that way. I'm going to use mostly this controller, but of course in N or S mode this controller is just as good, and simple movements will be similar. So no matter what you will do, this wheel is going to lift and lower the gimbal, and you will find the similar wheel at here. Pause button is different at different place, which is more suitable for this drone. These buttons will be actually more in use, and that's probably why we have this mode dial here at the front, and also this dial which works differently in N or S mode and in M mode. And I'm using this one for engines, so I can ignite the engines motors and then I can switch them off. So I'm using this mostly for that, but also of course the recording, and that's also different with this controller. But after that they are quite similar. So these sticks, they work exactly the same. Movement with these sticks are a little bit longer, and when some of the FPV pilots uses these sticks like this, it is just in order to keep your movements quite reduced. So instead of just using your thumbs, where you might even slip the controller stick, some people prefer use them like this, but also some people just uses throttle like this, and the how you turn and roll the drone, you will just use the right side stick with your thumb. It's your decision how you want to use this. I'm using mode 2 with my sticks because that's kind of what you get as a standard with DJI, and I kind of wanted to stick with that for the reason that I will be flying with FPV, and I will be also flying with RC2 as an so that I can use this as a normal drone, but also I have the AR3S, and all of these movements are the same with this and that one. So there's that. When you have 2 sticks, right one is the pitch, where you make the roll forwards, forwards, backwards, backwards, left, left, right, right. This will be the same with when you are moving your drone all in all. When you go forwards with stick, the drone will roll forwards, but it also has the throttle, and it also has the limits how much it rolls. But when you let it go, the drone will level itself up. This is different with M mode, where you push it forwards, it rolls, and if you have M mode limit on, it will roll all the way at its maximum. Even when you return the stick at middle, the drone will remain in that same angle. You will need to push throttle in order to get the drone go forward. If the drone is leveled and you push throttle, it will go up. If you let go the throttle, it will come down. These are the main differences. And I would like you to really start it easy with M mode, because basically what you want to know is, well, first of all, that you are in safe place, and especially if you don't have, like, you know, there's no spotters around me, so I will be in charge of everything here, and I'm kind of also a little bit bending the rules in order to be able to train or fly FPV in places where you don't really meet anyone
within miles, or if you meet them, you can hear them from distance. Except wild animals, because they get a little bit sneak up on you, but none of the wild animals have ever sneaked up on me. First things first, we want to be able to actually control our height and control how fast forward or backwards we go, and then also be able to do the turn. And this kind of place would be perfect because I can do forwards and backwards here, and also turning, so that I have quite a bit of space around me and the drone. I'll place the camera here. I have the small tripod, which is just making this thing quite uncomfortable to hold, but I'm going to let you see how I would do it and train it, so that you can see. So first thing is how it is that you read all of those numbers, what is inside of your goggles, and that you know where the alerts are when you're going closer down, or how far it goes and what it does. And when we go forward, just be familiar with movement, forward and backwards. I'm going to do this so that I'm here in the middle. I'll have this pointing at me, so when I go sideways, I'll turn this with this hand. I'll put it to the right, and then I'll move it to the left. Okay, easy. So this is the basic movements. And when I want to go up, I'll use this hand, push forward, and it goes up. And this hand, and downwards, and it goes down. And if I will move this hand up and this hand down, it will go diagonally up, and it will do a nice revealing of that forest. And same when I go forwards with this and down with this one, I'll go towards where I'm at right now. So this is kind of easy drill. And if I will push both of these towards each other a little bit, it will go sideways. I do not recommend this unless you're familiar with this. I would recommend using a chair or a pole or something which you can go around. This drone is not happy at all with the distance. In S mode, you will have to control the throttle yourself, and now I'll do the same. So it will do, and it will collide with anything what is in the image. And then I can go backwards. So now I'm gonna switch it to the manual mode. Yeah, so we have N mode here, and then we have S mode, and then we have N mode. It says here on the label. But if it doesn't work in M mode, it can't find it. You'll just have two S modes right after each other. You will need to go in goggles settings, and you will push the joystick down. And you will have status, album, transmission, and settings. When you push this joystick forwards or backwards, it will go up and down. You'll go settings, control, remote controller, and then you will have custom mode. And then you have manual mode here. Then it will say mastery in flying required before switching to M mode. So this is something
that you will need to take actually seriously. And I'll just push this confirm. It also says that tighten the screw behind the throttle stick to keep it from recentering automatically. Now I have manual mode. While we are at here, there is C2 button, which is here. And you can put this to do different things. I have it to start motors because I don't do anything with those other modes. So when I am at M mode, then I can start the engines like this, but I stopped it, and I can stop it with just clicking it to other direction. It's helpful in case if you crash, when you crash your drone, and it is going to be actually like upside down somewhere like this, or whatever, it's going crazy in the grass or snow or wherever you're flying at. When you stop your engines, it will stop that and prevent more damage to happen to this drone. So that is what is needed. In M mode, there's not really any other practical way to stop the engines than this button. Probably those engines will stall if you will fly it in the snow, and but it might do some damage which will lead this drone to be needed to be sent to DJI in order to fix it. And as you can see, I have only 10% of the angle, so now I don't have to move much of these sticks, and actually before it does anything, it stays completely still now, so I can take my time and relax and have my finger on pause button should anything go wrong. So that's something what you should learn also. But then it goes back to N mode, and that's good. So when you balance the drone in this mode, I'll keep an eye on it, then you actually will balance the drone literally. So the throttle is just enough to keep it balanced, and you are also keeping the drone in the position where it needs to be when it is balanced. So let's see what happens when I switch to manual mode. I'm switched. Now I can just a little bit control the throttle, so I'm keeping it balanced like it was. I let a little bit control it, so if I will push this forward, it will go forward, and when I will push this backwards, it will go backwards. This is difficult to judge without a proper things. But now when I tilt, now it goes sideways, and I will go that direction when I push it, and it holds it there even if I let go of the sticks. So I'll have to center the sticks manually, and that's what manual mode says. So it doesn't have that kind of balance mode. And now I will probably want to do the same drills, and you have to remember to feed the throttle. That's something what doesn't go in the center. That's only thing what goes. So now one of the most important things is actually to learn to do this. Hover. And then you will have to learn how to go backwards and how to come forwards. And there you go. It nearly stalled because I didn't give it enough. There we have basic movements, but of course you will be at the situation where you will need to turn the drone. So this is where you need to yaw control. So you have throttle here, and then you have yaw. and you will need to give certain amount of the throttle in order to keep the drone still up, and you will need to little bit use the pitch. I usually use these sticks so that if I'm turning to left, for example, then I'll give a little bit of throttle and I will give a little bit of yaw to the left, but I will correct the movement, because otherwise it's just going to spin like this. So it is going to spin like this if you're going to do it like this. So I'm going to correct that movement to opposite direction, to the same direction. So I'm going to give pitch also a little bit to the left, so that instead of it going like this, it is going to go like this. And voila, you have the turning. Choose a spot where you have loads of space for that, because that's what you're going to need in order to get it working at first. But we are going to get into that more in next episode, because I would like to encourage you to actually just try to get the drone, how to get it actually to hover, how to keep it hovering like I did on the lake, and how you can get it actually to move a little bit back forwards and then stop the movement, and then get a little bit back and stop the movements. If you get that correctly, just a little bit sideways and stop the movement, a little bit sideways and stop the movement. And after that, you can just switch it back to N or S mode, or just press pause. And then you can just switch it back to manual if you are kind of relaxed, and do that again a couple of times in order to get that sensation of, you know, I can keep this hovering. I know where it is at when I'm doing that, and I can also a little bit move it around. I'm telling you that making that turn, actually the first turn, that is going to need a little bit more than just basic controlling of your drone in FPV mode. And I would also suggest that you will keep the attitude mode off, so you don't tamper with this setting. I'm gonna show it to you right away. So now you have here M-Mode attitude limit, and I would have it to be like that. And why is that? It has M-Mode attitude limit, and it will limit you when you are giving it a roll. So when you have pitch and you will push things forward, when it is off, it will go infinitely, or at least until it hits the ground, in any direction by default, because there's no limit. But when you have this limit on, it will go only up till 35 degrees. I don't know the exact number. You might just look from DJI. Never mind if you don't want to go through those numbers, but it won't go further than certain amount. I think it is something like this. This will reduce your maximum speed, of course, but it will also prevent you to spinning over and completely losing your orientation when you're flying.
Yeah. Well, it's different lake, different location, and I'm going to be flying here with my Neo 2 with RC2. It's a little bit chilly, and so I'm just gonna quickly do this with my DSLR, filming this. I'm going to do same drills here and see what I can get with simple movements with my RC2. I might pop out also my FPV goggles and see if I will do some fast-paced movements on that lake. The problem with fast-paced movements and a vast area like this kind of lake is that if you don't have any remarkable places where you can see the speed, it doesn't really look like much, and especially if you're flying higher up, even if you would be flying, which is not possible here in EU, 20 meters per second up there, it would not look like the drone would be moving at all. So it always needs kind of a reference for its speed in order to be looking like something. But I'll need to get my drone up because light is there right now. I'll film it a little bit with this one, but also with the Neo soon. So
Whew, yeah. That's how you do it. After careful thinking, because what I did capture yesterday by the lake, by the different lake with FPV controller, even it has exactly the same functions that this one in N and S modes, although this is more easy because this has also more control buttons for things exactly to capture video and photos with an ease. That controller is meant for FPV, and therefore it has more functions aimed towards those functions. So it is still a little bit different. But I wanted to come back today, and I went to shoot after sunset or during the sunsets. On the opposite side of the sunset, you have beautiful pastel colors with the completely frozen lake, which has nice snow cover. So it kind of reflects some of that light too. So it is quite nice scene, and you can see it from here. I captured it with my Canon, and then I wanted to kind of demonstrate, but not just demonstrate. I wanted to capture that scene. I wanted to make it so that I don't use so many fancy movements. Well, some people might consider those as boring movements, but I genuinely think that simple, nice, smooth scenes in beautiful scenery is what you want and need. And basically, everything what I talked about for that FPV flying, technically, very technically, I just did shoot this with exactly same things, with just a little bit of rotation at the main shoot. So that's something that I really want to do sometimes, just to keep the camera pointed at something when I'm turning. So that is kind of going to keep our eyes towards that scenery. And you don't need to do much more than that. And you can explore, especially with RC2, you can explore with that when you go sideways, and then you might want to go a little bit higher up and sideways, so it makes nice reveal and also change the perspective. And then while you go up, if you go that way, right? So you will turn while you go up with throttle. You will also use the yaw a little bit, so it will kind of also rotate while it goes up. So that's something what you can just slowly try out yourself. But that makes a difference. Easy little thing, kind of adds a little bit of focus for your eyes, so that you can control what people will be looking at. But yeah, simple things. That was something that was asked from me. Whew. That's a lot of things in one episode, and I have a feeling that episode 2 will be even more packed. Well, I don't know, maybe less packed, because you should have all of those things already under the belt, kind of. But I would say that if you liked this and you would like to see more, please do subscribe. If you have found this information useful, please hit the like and share this so that even more of people will be able to enjoy this and learn something while they do so. So please consider subscribing, liking and sharing if you haven't already. On the next episode we are going to go deeper into those rotations and spins, which is going to lift your material on a completely different level.